I'm going to start off with someone who argued voting rights cases under Section 2 as a DOJ trial attorney, the former Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights, and is now General Counsel for the NAACP, Kristen Clarke. I respect you so much and the work that you have done from the ground till now, and so I'm glad that you're here to give us more context, because this setback for Democrats, all because of timing, according to the Supreme Court in Virginia, should that have been foreseeable?
Well, we're seeing a pattern happening right now. I mean, it's been a heck of a, last 8-9 days in American democracy. We're seeing lawmakers across the South move at lightning speed to target Black voters and dismantle districts that provide Black voters an opportunity to elect candidates of choice. And, today's decision in Virginia is deeply troubling. It wipes out, seeks to cancel the votes of more than 3 million people across Virginia on what frankly feels like is a technicality. I'm pleased to see that Virginia is fighting and standing up for their voters, and we'll see ultimately what's happening. But this is a dark moment in American democracy, one in which every American should be deeply concerned.
There are other dominoes, as I keep referencing. You got Virginia, as you mentioned, being viewed as a technicality, perhaps. It did not say that partisan redistricting itself was illegal. The Supreme Court has also not found that overtly. But this ruling still is different from Texas or the California rulings by the U.S. Supreme Court. Explain to people why these are not just in whole and part the same thing.
Well, the Virginia situation is very different. Virginia's Constitution really creates a slow process for amending the Constitution and requires that there be 2 legislative sessions with an election in the beginning. And on what really, frankly, feels like very technical and procedural grounds, by a 4-3 majority, this court has chosen to read the rules in a way that disenfranchises Virginian voters. But, again, I think it's important to zoom out and look at what's happening across the South in the country right now. And the picture there is one that is deeply racialized, one where we are swiftly seeing efforts to pull back access to the franchise for Black voters, one in which we stand to see fewer Black elected officials serving in Congress. And so it's a 10-alarm fire right now.
So the Supreme Court is likely to be asked to hear this decision from Virginia, for example. I am curious as to whether you think the Supreme Court, given that they just ruled, would even entertain something like this, particularly when you've got the dominoes in Tennessee and breaking up majority Black districts like Memphis, knowing that there's also going to be probably less Black Democrats or Black members of Congress, period, ultimately.
Well, it will be interesting to see what the Supreme Court does here, but there is a pending case before the court right now, the Watson case, that is looking at the question of when do you stop counting absentee ballots cast by voters? And there the question is kind of what constitutes the election. The Virginia Supreme Court actually issued a ruling today that adopts a very expansive view of what constitutes an election. They included the early voting period that ran for about 45 days. Here, the Supreme Court and people who are pushing for a limited view on voting rights are asking the court to adopt a very narrow view. So there is a tension here, and there is, I think, an opportunity for the court, if they're going to adopt a narrow view of the election, to overturn the Virginia Supreme Court ruling, which is in tension with the Watson case.
I know we have very limited time, but what will the NAACP and other entities try to do to fight back?
We're going to continue to fight these battles in federal court, in state court. We're going to use every tool available to ensure that all Americans, particularly Black Americans who historically have been disenfranchised in our nation, we're going to use every tool available.
But one less tool is Section 2 in the Voting Rights Act. Is that going
right.
to impact fatally?
The battle is a steep one. We just filed suit in Tennessee. The NAACP is committed to using creative litigation strategies, legal advocacy, showing up for these hearings, making sure that we are pushing back and putting lawmakers on notice that what they're doing is discriminatory, it is illegal, and it is immoral.
We'll see what happens next. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.